Welcome back to more Animal Crossing New Horizons. Last time we went over the May seasonal items and International Museum Day. So this time, we're going to go over the June seasonal items and the main event for the month. First of all, we have all of the new items over here. The first three outfits here can be obtained through the Able Sister store, while everything else can be obtained through the Nook Shopping app. Alright, let's check out all of the descriptions. This is for the Dragon Boat Festival. Celebrated on the 5th day of the 5th month of the year according to the lunar calendar in parts of East Asia, this holiday is meant to ward off disease. Steamed sticky rice dumplings are typically served. Next up is this item for the Dano Festival. Celebrated on the 5th day of the 5th month of the year according to the lunar calendar, in South Korea this holiday is for praying for a bountiful harvest and warding off bad luck. Next up, we have a couple of returning items from Father's Day and International Children's Day. This event is for celebrating children growing up in good health while thanking those who raised them. If you've ever been a good kid or raised one, flip your cape in a superhero way. This event is for celebrating children growing up in good health while thanking those who raised them. Those who behold your new crown will be compelled to kneel before your royalness. And yeah, this is a returning item from last year, but this is a new item for this year's Father's Day. Father's Day is when we say, "Thanks for watching out for me, Dad." Although the holiday is celebrated at different times around the world, the gratitude and respect for dads is the same everywhere. And finally, we have new wedding season items through the shopping system. There's a saying that June brides will be happy forever, which is perhaps linked to the month of June being named after Juno, the goddess of marriage and birth. Also, June is just a nice month to have a wedding. So these items are interesting. For the apron and the nuptial series, there are variants. Similar to the main wedding items, there are multiple variants of the wedding items. There are also several different colors for the apron, so if you want them all, you want to check periodically throughout the month of June. The nuptial series is available throughout basically all of June, while these two food items are available, I think, until June 14th. So you have less time to get those. In general, I still think it's really weird that all of the new seasonal items are added through the store and not through the actual event. And there is a returning event. By the way, we also have this little flower basket. We can actually throw the petals. So the wedding event from last year returns. So if you want to take part in that, either again or for the first time, depending on when you started playing the game, you can simply go to the Dodo Airlines, go to Harv's Island, and participate in taking wedding photos for Reese and Cyrus. As you go through this event, if it's the same as last year, you'll eventually be able to throw a huge party after like 10 days or so of doing this. But because I have all the wedding furniture and more heart crystals than I really need, I'm actually really not concerned about going through the wedding day event again. It's partly because I had to do it so many times to begin with. Basically, with the wedding season, it's probably one of the most repetitious events in New Horizons, because throughout the entire month you have to basically set up wedding photos, and it's kind of the same process every day, either for a reception or for the wedding itself. And you basically have to put together a scene, but it gets old really fast. So after doing that for most of last June, I really don't feel inspired to go through it again. I tried a few times to see if anything was really new, and even the dialogue seemed mostly the same. So we're not going to worry about that. But if this is your first time playing Animal Crossing New Horizons, in June, like if you got the game later last year or early this year, it might be enjoyable at first, and then again, it kind of runs its course very quickly, sadly. Which is a shame, because I really like the characters of Reese and Cyrus and wish they got more to do outside of the wedding season event. I do miss retail. I wish we had more stores. Like, having Nook's Cranny is fine. Also, having an upgrade would be good, because it's still at level 2 after a very long time, when previously the stores always had 4 levels. So I'm amazed we haven't gotten another level to this yet. But also, with Reese and Cyrus, I do like the idea of going to them to customize furniture, and even though there is a customization system through DIY, I think it would still work if they set up like special customizations that only Reese or Cyrus could do. As is, it does feel like a lot of the recurring characters are kind of sidelined to events instead of being like regular visitors or mainstays of your town, and that is kind of a shame. So yeah, this is kind of a quick update. There really isn't a whole lot to show in June. As a reminder, I actually keep forgetting to say this at the beginning of a month, but because fish and bugs rotate out, usually every month, if you still need to catch bugs, specifically, now would be the time to do so, because they do become more rare in fall and winter. So if you do want to go for the Nook Miles achievements, or if you need specific bugs for the museum or your Critterpedia, now would be the time to try to collect them. Same with fish. There are definitely some very rare fish when it's raining, like a coelacanth. So in the rainy season, it might be a good idea to try to go fishing a lot more, to try to get a lot of really rare fish, either for collecting and donating to the museum, or for selling. As is with the Nook Miles achievements for catching things, I've been kind of neglecting those in all fairness, because I have more money than I really need, and to be honest, you have to catch like 5,000, and I'm nowhere close to that. So I'm kind of dragging my feet with that a little bit, even though I do want to complete as many of the Nook Miles challenges as I can someday. So yeah, for my town, not much has really changed, if anything. I don't think anything has really changed, except we have a new villager. Phoebe moved out, and instead we have this bunny. Hi, it's me, Cole. I overslept a little today, but that's cool. It gave the bugs in my house some extra quiet time. So yeah, we have another, presumably lazy villager, given his dialogue. So yeah, it is interesting how, in this game, villagers won't move out unless you, say they can. Which in some ways is cool, because, that means no one can move out if you take a long break. But on the other hand, it does feel like the villagers have less autonomy in that way. Like in the old games, they can just move out whenever, and you might miss out on your chance to talk them out of it. But that does make them feel a little bit more alive in a way, rather than basically always listening to you if you ask them to stay. I know in some of the older games, like I want to say Wild World, there's a possibility of asking someone to stay, and they'll say, no, I still want to leave. And depending on what villager it is, that can be a bit heartbreaking if it's one of your favorites, but it does make them feel a little bit more independent. And I do kind of miss that in some ways, and don't miss that in other ways. It's Sunday, so I'm probably going to try to buy turnips at some point. Let's see how much they're going for, actually. Good morning. You here to start your Sunday off with some fresh turnips? I've got turnips aplenty, fresh from Sal Jones Stock Market. Wanna buy them for 108 bells each? Okie doke, maybe next time. I am kind of on the fence about that. On one hand, I feel like when the bell price is super low, I tend to have really low sell prices. On the other hand, buying high like that feels a little bit risky. I actually wonder what the highest possible buying price is. I don't think I've seen it go past like 110, actually. I know the selling price caps at about 5 to 600, somewhere in there. But I'm actually not sure about the buying price. I haven't seen it go beyond a certain point, and the lowest I've seen is like 90. I don't think I've ever seen a buying price around like 80, as an example. I still need like 1 billion bells or something to actually get the final Nook Miles achievement for the stock market, and then I'll be free of that. But I feel like that is kind of a problem with New Horizons, is a lot of things, a lot of the goals feel like they're set really ridiculously high, to the point where they almost feel more like chores than achievements. Though, to be fair, that's kind of a thing in Animal Crossing in general, like in New Leaf, with a lot of the badges from Phineas. Oh, Phineas, that's another character who hasn't come back yet, and probably won't. I don't feel like Phineas is as beloved as other characters like Brewster, so I feel like they're less likely to come back. But yeah, I completely forgot. I was like, oh yeah, Phineas still isn't in this. So yeah, a lot of those requirements are set really high too, because Animal Crossing is designed to be played a little bit for a long period of time. But it still feels a little bit daunting at times, and kind of like overwhelming, seeing like, oh, I've caught this many fish and I'm still at like a bronze medal from Phineas. It can be a little bit like discouraging when you have such high goals for achievements, but I do get it based on the nature of Animal Crossing. So yeah, since we're not really going to show off the wedding season again, you can find the videos from last June probably. I'm kind of just going around my town showing off what it currently looks like. This area is probably the least changed. It's basically been like this for a really long time. I might change it up soon, actually. Just because everything else has basically changed, except this little area, which has basically been the same for months. Like this little park picnic area over here, I feel like I might do something different with this at some point, but I'm not really sure what. Also, one thing I wanted to mention is that this will be part 120, making this officially the longest playthrough on my channel by episode count. Not by length by hours, because I think possibly I'm trying to remember if I did 20-minute or 30-minute videos for Okami, but I definitely did long videos for Vesperia, and thus that would still be the longest playthrough by runtime, but this is now the longest playthrough by episode count. I'm not sure how many more episodes I'm going to make of Animal Crossing New Horizons. It kind of depends on how much more gets added. I'm kind of getting to a point where, unless something really major gets added soon, I might call it around maybe 125, and basically come back if there's something really big later on. At the time of this recording, we are officially, 9 days, 9 days away, technically 8 days, or so away from E3. So I feel like if nothing really big gets announced for Animal Crossing at E3, I might start thinking about winding down this series, just as a heads up. I might still do Animal Crossing videos periodically, but not like the regular check-ins for all the seasonal items and everything, and sort of start, winding down this playthrough and moving on to something else. I have some other things in mind for like secondary playthroughs, like playthroughs that are updated like semi-regularly like this. One of which is an old playthrough I said I would do a very long time ago, and 3 years later I still haven't gotten around to it. And a few other things as well that are like sort of things that I wouldn't have as like a main playthrough, but basically gradually update like maybe twice or so a week or something like that. I have a few different ideas in mind. June is also the anniversary of my channel. As of, 2 weeks from now, I'll have been posting Let's Plays officially for like 6 years, since June 2015. So I am thinking about different avenues of how to approach my channel going forward, and maybe some future projects as well that would kind of take the same role of Animal Crossing as kind of like an occasional like check-in kind of series, but not as much like a main playthrough. So yeah, that's kind of the update on Animal Crossing specifically. Also, by the way, for the wedding season, you don't need any tickets or anything. You can simply talk to the Dodos, or Vol or Wilbur. I forget which one is actually the one at the counter and which one actually flies the plane. But you can talk to the one at the counter and just select to go to Harvest Island free of charge, no worries. So yeah, in general, I do feel like the wedding season event is probably one of the least liked events, second only to Bunny Day because of the sheer ridiculousness of it last year. With the wedding season, it was more boring than anything. So yeah, I definitely feel like this is one of the less liked holidays, and to see them not really tweak anything or even add the new items to the event itself, but through the shopping app, it's kind of like there's not really an incentive to keep going through it another 30 times in June. And that's why I'm kind of opting out of showing that this time. So yeah, on that note, I don't know when the next Animal Crossing video will be. I'm pretty sure a couple of seasonal items are known for July. By the way, there's gonna be like, the bug-offs, the bug catching tournaments. Those should start up pretty soon again. So that's something else to keep in mind if you still need the achievement for that. For the Nook Miles, and if you want to go off after the trophies for like 300 points or something like that. So yeah, there are still events in June, but in terms of like new things, there really isn't anything new. And that's kind of the inherent problem I'm running into, is there isn't a lot new to show each time we check in. And again, because they're just kind of re-adding in events from last year in these updates, unless something really big gets added soon, yeah, I think I might start moving on to a new playthrough. Maybe we'll check into the town occasionally if that happens, like once every like month, do like one check-in and kind of show off how things are going. But who knows? We'll cross that bridge when we get there. In any case, though, I think that's about it for now. Thank you for watching, and I hope you'll join me next time for more Animal Crossing New Horizons.